Yeah, we actually do. Because you couldn't be there. Right. Actually, I can't live there. I can't live there. Very good.
Yeah.
You get a good night's sleep?
I
like this suit.
I can tell you all about that. So basically, I fell asleep at like 11:30.
Okay.
Because I had trouble falling asleep.
Isaiah, can I check in with you for 1 moment? Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
So, after your aunt sings the Shema, will you say the Shema, like in our language Shema? Would you be able to, because I want to do that as sort of like a tabernacle, like an intention, and then you'll actually say the Shema. Does that feel good?
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Great.
Okay, and then
Steve, here's an outline for you, my dear. Sorry it took so long. Steve?
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
so which one should I say right?
So far.
I can also call
Yeah, so Shema and Hafta. You can actually say, like, please join me with Shema and Hafta 114 once. Let's do it all together. People actually still. Actually, no, I'll invite them to say. They can say.
Rabbi.
I believe so. Perhaps, actually, perhaps not. No. Okay, so I'm gonna give you one moment.
So, if you need any help during the Torah reading, I will whisper to you, okay?
Okay.
And if you can't hear me, punch me, okay? Any way to get my attention.
What I'll actually do, rather than trying to remember, is as you come up, I'll invite you to share your Hebrew name, and then I'll say it to the microphone. I think that's a simple way to do it. Okay. Right. Okay.
Somebody once pointed out to me
It's very hard to know.
the fact that
There's
the
not always
midst
a
of
one-to-one
person
correspondence.
delivering a devar to the
For anyone who knows
congregation,
the Hebrew,
you are adding your knowledge and teaching of Torah to the hundreds and hundreds of years of everyone else doing it also. So you're going to be on that list. I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
No, I mean,
He's actually my cousin. Yeah, everyone always thinks we're twins. His name is Ari. He's been here before because he's the grade right under us, the sixth grade.
Okay.
So we've been here with him before during like Wednesday.
You can almost be twins.
Yeah, that's what everyone says.
What a riot. And the girl next to him?
That's my sister Sarah.
Oh, so there's you and your sister?
Yeah.
Terrific. You're leading the way for the family. I like your suit.
that would be wonderful. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. That's the perfect part. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to invite Liz and Marina and Isaiah to join me up here for a moment. And Steve and Aaron Burke Right into the microphone so folks on Zoom can hear you.
Okay.
Open with words of welcome, page 10. Hine matov umanayim, how sweet it is, how good it is to be gathering together this morning. Hine matov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim, shevet achayot gam yachad. Hine matov, hine matov. Ya la la, ya la 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 la. Hine matov, hine matov. Ya la la, ya la 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 la. Hine matov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim, shevet achayot gam yachad. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
So good to see you. It's so wonderful to be together and so sweet to gather together this morning here at Shir Tikva to celebrate the bar mitzvah of Isaiah Corris. Yay, Isaiah! Welcome, one and all, to Shir Tikva, to the sweet shul in South Minneapolis. Welcome to you on Zoom, or on YouTube, I mean. It's wonderful to have you here. Let's just take a moment. Let's take a breath. This is something I'm learning from Isaiah, the importance of deep breaths before we do big things. Let's not just go rushing in. Let's take a moment and notice. Shabbat is a day of rest. Shabbat is a day when we let the heaviness and the rush of the week lift off us so we can be present to what is, so we can be present to each other. So as we sing and pray and
learn together this Shabbat morning, I invite you to use the words of the Siddur, to use your voices. This is not an observation sport, it's deeply participatory. Whether you feel very comfortable in tefillah, in prayer, or whether this is your first time at a Shabbat service, I welcome you. Join us in song. Join us in prayer. You'll find Hebrew and transliterations and English. May you choose the path in our Siddur, in our prayer book, that feels most comfortable for you. Before we get started, a few words of housekeeping for those of us who are here in this space. If you're wondering where the bathroom is, it's right through that door. Helpful. I thank you so much for keeping your masks on in this space. We are in another fun moment in COVID times, and so we will also be keeping our masks on. Isaiah, you're welcome to take your mask off if you feel like it, but also feel free. But thank you so much for keeping each other safe in this way. If you need to take a mask break, please feel free to go into the Oneg Hall or to go outside. It's suddenly a beautiful day after that thunderstorm, so magic. And finally, before we deepen our service, move into our tefillah, I'm going to invite you to take a moment. If you have a cell phone with you, turn it off. If you're at home and you're on YouTube and you have other tabs open, close them. Close your email. Let it go, right? Be in this moment together and receive the gift of having an hour. And it's going to be about an hour and 20 minutes. So don't worry if you're like, how will I live without it? It's an hour and 20 minutes. So here we go. So take another deep breath. And Isaiah, I invite you to look around for a moment and see all these loved ones who have traveled from near and far to be with you. Let's just beam love to each other for a moment. And I invite Emily Szymanski to come and join us on the bima to offer a first reading. You'll find your readings in the program tucked into your Siddur. Can I set this up? Oh, of course.
Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable.
We continue together with Moda Ani, page 68.
Moda'ani
lefanecha, melech chai v'kayam, shechezarta b'nishmati v'chemla, raba emunatecha, I invite your grandparents, Penny and Robert, to join us on the bima to present you with your talit.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirishanu b'mitzvotav v'hitatef b'tzitzit.
Amen.
Yeah, you're going to say it first and I'll.
Isaiah, as you all know, is a champion. He's a champion swimmer. And just recently, he became a champion history, audio-visual presentation, making it all the way to state.
Well, more importantly,
You get your chance in a minute. And today, he's going to be a champ here on the Bema. But the thing I wanted to say to you, Isaiah, and to everyone, is the thing that really makes him a champ is that he's a good guy. And starting today, he's going to be a good young man. And so my prayer for you, Isaiah, is no matter what kind of day you have as you grow up and go through life, whether it's a good day or a bad day, every morning when you look in the mirror, and you may not know it, but starting soon, you'll be looking in the mirror every morning with that shaving cream and the razor or the electric. But every time you look in the mirror and see yourself, see the goodness. And enjoy the goodness and be that good person that you are now and always will be. We love you.
Bob, you didn't say the thing about his project.
I did.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I said he was. Did you hear me say he was a state champ? You know?
Okay, but the thing is that there was somebody who was on the board reading all these history things and picked yours out to be the kinder transport, picked his out to be included in the Holocaust Resource Center. And didn't they give you $100? You made $100. It's a lot of money. I never made that much money. But the one thing I did want to say to Isaiah is you come from a very strong group of people. You come from your grandfather, Bob, and David Bebo, and you've got great-grandparents who aren't here, and you have parents who are great. You come from a great, strong family, and you carry on that tradition. I know you will, because you're very special, and we love you.
Thank you. Let's continue together. Page 74, Ma Tovu.
Ma tovu, ohalech hayakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu, ohalech hayakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael.
We continue together, page 78, Elohai Neshama, blessing our soul, blessing our breath this morning.
Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi.
I'd love to invite Michelle and Abby and Aaron to join us on the Bema for our second reading.
I'm good. As you travel along the path that will be your life, may you walk on firm ground with the wind at your back and the sun shining gently at your face.
May your mind, body, and hands be strong, and may their work be guided both the wisdom of your soul and the compassion of your heart.
May you draw from the strength and wisdom of our tradition and those who came before you and make them your own.
May you have beautiful dreams which inspire you, and may your pursuit of those dreams be fulfilling.
May your successes be many, and when you don't succeed, may you learn and grow from the experience and go on.
May you always give yourself the gift of learning and something new.
May you have the courage of conviction and patience to fight for what you know to be right.
May you laugh often.
May you always go to sleep at night with that feeling of satisfaction that comes from a day well lived.
May you always have peace in your home and in your heart.
May you know unbridled joy, and may your sorrows be few and far between.
May you find true, enduring love, and may you be blessed with children as wonderful as you.
May you always have good friends.
May you always feel the love of family and friends as you take your place among the Jewish people of your generation.
May you live a long, healthy, happy, and peaceful life, and may you be the change you want to see in the world.
We love you.
Continue now with Psalm 150, page 100.
Hallelujah, 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 birki auzo, hallelujah, bigurotav, hallelujah, kerogulo, hallelujah, 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 betekat shofar, hallelujah, benevel vechinor, hallelujah, betofu machor, hallelujah, beminim beugab, hallelujah, 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 betzilzele shama, hallelujah, betzilzele trua, kol hanishama tehaleluya, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Page 108, Baruch, and you can rise.
Please rise.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai
We continue on page 110. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uboreh choshech oseh shalom uboreh et hakol Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uboreh choshech oseh shalom uboreh et hakol אור חדש על ציון תאיר ונזכחו לנו מהרה לאורו ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות.
Amen.
As offering us a musical way of entering into the Shema, I'm going to invite up Isaiah's Aunt Sarah to lead us in a Shema, a musical Shema, and then we will say the Shema together on page 114.
Feel like we're in tune?
Shema Yisrael. Shema, Shema Yisrael. Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael. Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael. Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael. Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu,
Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shem Kivot Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Page 116.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושננתם לבדיך ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך
ושוכבך וקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, amen. We continue with Michamocha, this song of liberation, this song of moving from the narrows into the expanse on page 122. Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, Michamocha nega b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osef ele, Nora tehilot osef ele, Shira chadasha shibechu geulim, Leshimcha al sefat hayam, Yachad kulam hodu veimlichu, ve'ameru Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Ay alay lay alalay ay lay ay lalay lay ay lalay lay ay alay lay alalay. In just a moment, we'll begin our Amidah together, our time for personal prayer. We'll begin the Amidah aloud together on page 124. And then there will be time in quiet for you to use the words of the Siddur or the words of your heart to find a few honest moments of prayer, and we'll come back together in song on page 142. Please rise in body and spirit. Sur Yisrael, Kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, Ufdechinu mecha, Yehuda ve'Yisrael, Go'aleinu Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch et Adonai Gal Yisrael. Adonai Sfatai tiftach, Ufi agid Tehilatecha. 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konei Hakol, ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד. מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ומלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור. הללויה, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Continue together on page 142. Ose shalom bimromah, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel.
Uya
So we arrive now at the threshold of our Torah service. I invite you, if you are with us on live stream, please feel free to share words of congratulations in the chat so Isaiah can return to them after the service and read your sweet words. And your tutor, Marilyn, Isaiah, is already commenting, wishing you Mazal Tov from Jerusalem. So sweet. We miss you, Marilyn. So here we go, folks. We're going to bring the Torah out from the ark. You'll be invited to rise in just a moment. And I also invite Isaiah and your parents and your grandparents, Robert and Penny and David and Paul and Karen and Liz and Marina, the whole family, to come on up and join us here on in front of the bima as we get ready to hear you teach and read Torah. You ready?
Yeah.
Awesome. Please rise. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah udvar Adonai Yerushalayim. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah udvar Adonai Yerushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Israel bikdushato. Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Israel bikdushato. So Isaiah, I'm going to invite you to stand next to your mom. And I invite all of you to stand and face the community. So it's our custom here at Shir Tikva to take this moment to pass down the wisdom that you've inherited from those who came before you, and to really take this moment to imbue the wisdom that you're carrying into the Torah. Just let it be like weaving together threads, that as Isaiah holds Torah for the first time as a bar mitzvah, he gets to receive also the wisdom from your families and from the generations that came before. So we'll sing for a moment. I invite you each just to touch Torah and take a moment to really think about what it is you want to be passing down.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of the universe. We are the Spirit of God. We are one.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Gadol Adonai Iti Uneromema Shemo Yachdav. As we bring Torah into the community, you're invited to greet Torah with the corner of your talit, your prayer book, or just by bowing and sending big smiles and love to the family as we pass by. Here we go.
Lai, 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 lai. Ya, lai, 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 lai. Ya, la, la, lai, 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 lai. Ya, lai, la, la, lai, lai, lai. Ya, la, la, lai, 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 lai. Ya, la, la, lai, 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 lai. Ya, la, la, lai, 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 lai. Ya, la, 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 lai, lai, lai. La Yai lai la la lai lai lai. Yai la la lai 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 la lai. Yai la la lai 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 la lai. Yai la la lai 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 la lai. Yai la la lai lai lai.
You may be seated. So it's my joy to invite Isaiah to teach us some Torah about his parsha. May you teach it in a slow voice so we can follow every single word.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here today. Just like every other person preparing for a bar mitzvah, I was excited to find out what parsha I would be getting and what it would be about. My parsha is called Bamidbar, and it is the first parsha in the book of Numbers. Bamidbar translates to into the wilderness. The Jewish people had been wandering in the desert for over 40 years, trying to find Israel. They were lost. My parsha is explaining a census that is taking place while they are wandering. They are counting all men ages 20 to 50 from each tribe who are able to bear arms, except for the Levites. God has given the Levites a special job, so they were not counted in the census. God asked the Levites to protect the Tabernacle of the Pact, which is an ark with the tablets of the Ten Commandments. While the Jews were wandering for all those years, it was the Levites' jobs to be the one who protected the Tabernacle. You may be wondering, why did God choose the Levites to protect the tabernacle and not anyone else? There is actually a really important reason for this with a lot of lessons in it. God chose the Levites because they had always been loyal to God. During the time of the golden calf, other tribes decided to worship the golden calf instead of God. However, during these times, the Levites always stayed loyal to God and worshiped God. Because of their loyalty, God chose to reward them with the important task of guarding the tabernacle. Because other tribes worship the golden calf, if someone from any other tribe would even just approach the tabernacle, they would be put to death immediately. This was specifically because God did not trust any of them around it. I was wondering why the Levites weren't counted in the census until Aaron and I found a cool response by the famous Rabbi Rashi. Rashi explained that the reason the Levites weren't counted in the census is because everyone who was counted would actually end up dying in the desert while they were wandering trying to find Jerusalem. However, God foresaw this, so God chose not to count the Levites to save them because of their loyalty. I also had one other question that I was really trying to figure out the answer to. Did the Levites want to guard it and feel honored, or did they feel forced to? At first, I thought this was a pretty simple answer. Yes, the Levites felt honored and would be extremely grateful for the opportunity. But then I realized there isn't just one answer to this question. God was clear about who could guard the tabernacle. Only men strong and able to bear arms would guard the tabernacle. Specifically, only men ages 20 to 50 were allowed. Women were not permitted to bear arms because they were considered less capable of doing dangerous tasks. Women were instead expected to stay home and take care of their children during the day. Men older than 50 were not allowed to guard the tabernacle even if they wanted to. So in answer to my question, I believe that yes, some Levites felt honor, but women and older men were never given this opportunity to feel the honor. This story is important because it includes some really important life lessons. The first lesson is about loyalty. The more you respect someone and are kind to someone, the more they will respect you and be kind to you. I thought of it kind of like the golden rule that we learned about in school, where you treat others the way you want to be treated. Treat them with respect and they will treat you with respect. I tried to think of a way that this lesson can link to the world right now, and I thought about something going on right now. When Russia invaded Ukraine, President Zelensky earned the trust of other countries and his own people in Ukraine by not leaving when things started to get really rough. He didn't leave even though he was offered a chance multiple times. President Zelensky has chosen to stay and help fight for his country. Because of his loyalty, other countries have supported him and supplied him with ammunition and other resources. The people of Ukraine have also put their trust in him and have stayed back to fight so that they can fight for their country with him. Their loyalty to protecting their country reminds me of the Levites' loyalty to protect the Tabernacle. The one other lesson I thought of and that I really liked was about the test of faith. I thought at the time that other tribes decided to worship other gods was a test of faith. A test to see if the Levites and other tribes would be faithful to God and stick to worshiping God as their leader. This was when God realized how loyal the Levites were and decided to trust them. This time, instead of thinking a way this lesson linked to the world, I thought about a way that it linked to my life. This is what I thought of. I have been on the same swim team for a long time, about 4 years actually, and I have been really loyal to the team. I feel like it was a test of faith when COVID was really bad and most of my friends switched to a different team. Would I be faithful to myself or my friends? And switch to their team. Decided to be faithful to my friends and switch to their team. However, it was not my style and I did not like it at all. Then I chose to do what was best for me and switched back to my old team. I get to do some special things like help coach the other group's practices or use some special training equipment. I also have a few friends on this team. This is the biggest test of faith that I have had in a long time and the one that I remember the most. I hope you can all take these lessons with you and put them to use. That is what my parsha is about and why it's important.
May we return to those lessons again and again. And I wish you, as you come back to this parsha next year and the year after and the year after, that you keep finding new wonders, things that you didn't notice this year, maybe 5 years from now, that you'll be like, didn't notice that there. New insights coming. So we will take this time now to bless Torah and to read Torah. Let's get the Torah ready. So for the first Aliyah, it's my joy to call Robert and Penny and David, Isaiah's grandparents, for this first Aliyah. Ya'amdu. Penina veReuven ben Hershel veDavid l'Aliyah Rishona. Baruch Adonai v'vorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah v'vorach le'olam va'ed. What?
Yeah. Baruch
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher barach banu mikol ha'amim nitan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Ele hapekudim asher pakad Moshe v'Aharon unsiyeh Yisrael 12 ish isha hagavei avotav hayu vayehu kol pekudim v'nei Yisrael levet avotam mi ben 20 shana v'mala kol yotzei tzava b'Yisrael vayehu kol hapekudim 600,000 ו3,000 ו550 והלוויים למטה אבותם לא התפקדו בתוכם.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher natan lanu mitorah emet yachayel ve'amnat mitzvot v'soseinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Wow, that's very loud. Amen. We'll take this moment now to pray for healing of body, healing of spirit. I invite If it's possible, grandparents, stay up with us for this next Aliyah. Fabulous. But let's take this moment now to pray for healing. I invite you, please, if there are people that you're praying for, to share their names aloud when I pause. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב ואמותינו שרה רבקה רחל ולאה הוא יברך וירפא את החולים. Please share names now.
Keresav, Yitzhak Linda.
Lauren Cheris.
הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם, להחלימם ולרפאותם ולהחזיקם, וישלח להם מהרה רפואה שלמה מן השמיים, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, השתה בגלה ובזמן קריב, ונאמר Amen. For the second Aliyah, I call Isaiah's parents, Liz and Marina. Liz. Batya, Bat, Nina, Beruben, Marina, Aliyah Shniya. Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Amen. Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, ach et mate Levi lo tifkod, v'et rosham lo tisa b'toch b'nei Yisrael, ve'ata hafked et halvim ha-mishkan ha'edut ve'al kol kelah ve'al kol asher lo hema yisu et hamishkan ve'et kol kelah ve'hem yisharatuhu ve'saviv lamishkan yachanu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'nagei olam neta b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Proud grandparents, you may go back to your seats. And I invite Marina and Liz to stay up and come on either side of Isaiah. Now, Isaiah, I'm about to call you to Torah. This is the moment. This is the moment when you get to bless Torah for the first time, standing on your own and both blessing and reading. Yamod, Yamod, Elon mi bet Marina uvatya l'aliyah shlishit.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Uven soa hamishkan yoridu oto halvim uvachanot hamishkan yakimu oto halvim v'hatzar hakarev yuma Yachanu b'nei Yisrael ish al machanehu v'ish al diglo l'tzivotam v'halviyim Yachanu saviv lamishkan ha'idu v'lo yehye ketzef al adad b'nei Yisrael v'shamru halviyim et mishmeret mishkan ha'idu v'ya'asu b'nei Yisrael kol chol asher tzivach Adonai et Moshe kein asu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher koach. As we close and cover the Torah, I hear the crinkling of little sweet blessings in your hands. So I'm going to invite you in this moment as we sing and congratulate Isaiah to toss gently these sweet wishes. Simin tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simin tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simin tov, mazel tov, simin tov. Yeilanu, 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 ulecho Yisrael. Come up and collect it. Yeilanu, yeilanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yeilanu, yeilanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yeilanu, yeilanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yasher koach. That was one of the most spirited collections of Swedish fish it was like there was Swedish fish and then there was a herd of piranhas. She's like, rah. Wow. Yasher koach to Isaiah and to the collectors. My goodness. How do you feel?
I'm proud.
You, say that again.
I feel proud.
I'm so, so glad. So I'm going to invite up to lift and dress the Torah, David to help us. I invite the community to rise as the Torah is lifted. No, so first home. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la la la. Ya la 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 la, ya la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la ya la la ya la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, Please remain standing as we bring the Torah back to the ark. We're about to change into a new month. We are about to enter the month of Sivan, and so we take this time to, as we anticipate this new month, to pour down blessings. So I'm going to hold the Torah. So hard to do with a microphone. We'll bless the new month, the coming of the new month, and then we'll put the Torah back in the ark. יהי רצון מלפניך אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו שתחדש עלינו את החודש הבא לטובה ולברכה ותיתן לנו חיים ארוכים, חיים של שלום, חיים של פרנסה, חיים שתהא בנו אהבת תורה ויראת שמיים, חיים שימלאו משאלות לבני לטובה. Amen. Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good. Rosh Chodesh Sivan yeh b'yom shlishi. Bayom Shlishi. The melody really messed me up. Etz Chaim Hila Machazikim Ba V'Tomcheha Meushar. Etz Chaim Hila Machazikim Ba V'Tomcheha Meushar. Shalom, 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 shalom. I'm going to invite Evan Tarasek to join us here on the bima. You may be seated. And Evan, who is a classmate of Isaiah's here at Shir Tikva, is going to offer a few words of congratulations on behalf of your class.
My name is Evan. I've been Isaiah's friend since 4th grade. You did a really good job. I'm glad to have you as a friend. I hope it'll stay that way for a long time. You are really nice and an amazing swimmer. Once again, good job.
And I invite us, if we want, rather than applauding, though that's very sweet, we can indicate our love with like this or just with our hands on our heart. No need to applaud. Although if we would just shower you with applause for the rest of the hour. I'm going to invite you now to give thanks, to offer your gratitude for the people who helped you get to this moment. Hold on. Microphone time.
I have a lot of people who have helped me get here today. I want to thank my friends from school and swimming for being supportive and cheering me on. I want to thank my sister for accommodating me when I have to practice Hebrew and stopping playing the piano for a few minutes so that I could practice. I want to thank all of my grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins for being here and supporting me through FaceTimes and texts. I want to thank my parents and rabbis for helping me when I had questions and didn't know what to do. I want to thank Aaron for helping me write all of this and knowing exactly what my parsha is about. I also want to thank all of my Hebrew teachers from the past, especially Barry and Lucy and also Forrest, for teaching me so much about being Jewish. Finally, I want to thank my tutor Marilyn for being such an amazing tutor. Without her, I would not even be able to have a bar mitzvah. She helped me with every single little thing. Turns out her granddaughter, who lives all the way in Jerusalem, has her bat mitzvah the same day as mine. Marilyn said that we are bar mitzvah buddies, which made me laugh. Even though she is not here and able to watch in person, Jerusalem is 8 hours ahead of here, so she is watching from her phone right now. Thank you all so much.
I told you we would clap for the rest of the day. So I'm going to invite up your Dvar Torah tutor, Aaron, to come offer you some words of blessing.
Hi, everyone. My name is Aaron. I'm one of the rabbinic interns here and at Shir Tikva. And Isaiah, I hope you feel the amount of pride and joy that I feel, that your parents feel, that your entire family feels watching you become a bar mitzvah today. It's been such an honor to get to know you and your family through the last few months. And you're my first student to become a bar mitzvah. So this moment is like really special for me too. It's been evident since the moment that we met how you walk into every room you enter, leading with kindness. As you taught us today, you're loyal to your people, but most importantly, you're loyal to yourself first. You're curious and you're eager to learn. We had so many wide-ranging conversations about your Parsha, Bamidbar, and learning and discussing it together was never a chore for you. You found so many ways in which the themes in your Parsha are still relevant today and speaks to your readiness to enter Jewish adulthood. You engaged in our learning together with enthusiasm, seriousness, but most importantly, joy. I learned so much from you in this process. It's almost as if you have a couple teachers who've been preparing you for this your entire life. Most of all, I see in you a sense of justice, a desire to do what's right in the world. You do right by your family, your friends, your community, and the wide world around you. You remind me of the prophet Isaiah, and I'm not sure if he's one of your namesakes, but you certainly would make him proud. Isaiah teaches us that if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then shall your light shine in darkness, and your gloom shall be like noonday. You are truly a light of a young man, helping ease and brighten the suffering and pain in your community through troubling times. This was a hard week for our country and for our world, but your luminous presence has not been and cannot be dimmed. Let us reflect back to you the millions of lumens of light that you share with all of us as we celebrate you on your joyous day. Mazel tov and your amazing job. You did so good. Yeah.
I'm going to invite your parents to come join me on the bima to offer their words of blessing.
So I'm going to go first because in case I start crying, I have to pass this on to Marina. Although Selah has just her last words to me were don't cry. So I'm going to do the best I can. All right, Isaiah, sweet kiddo. I'm so, so proud of you. I stand here in awe of what you've accomplished today. This is no easy feat. This day's been in the works for more than 13 years. Even before you were born, I imagined this moment standing beside you and blessing you in front of our community, family, and friends. I could stand here and talk about all your accomplishments because there are many. I could focus on the commitment and perseverance it took to get here because that would all be true. From balancing regular school to religious school to Hebrew school, swim practice, swim meets, birthday parties, time with the cousins, it wasn't always easy, but you did it. All that said, I instead want to offer a story and a wish. This is the story of your name. You've probably heard it, but I want to say it again. When you were growing inside Mama, we spent endless days and nights brainstorming your name, trying to find that perfect combination of a name that would honor the memory of loved ones, but hold meaning within itself. We quickly knew that your first name was going to be Isaiah, but we went back and forth on your middle name. We finally landed on Elon, both as your middle name and your Hebrew name. You were named after two of your great-grandmothers, my grandmother Helen and Mama's grandmother Phyllis Elena. The combination of Helen and Elena made Elon, Hebrew for the word tree, and that seemed like the perfect choice. When I looked up the meaning of the name Phyllis, your Italian great-grandmother, we learned that Phyllis meant foliage. Between Helen, Elena, tree, foliage, it fit perfectly. And so you became Isaiah Elon. There's something about trees. Strong, grounded branches that reach out to shade others. The metaphors are truly endless. For you, however, in this moment, I offer you my wish. Elon is a deeply powerful name. Trees are our past, our present, and future. Life literally can't exist on earth without trees. Trees are strong and their roots go deep. They sway and dance with the wind, the gentle breeze, the gust of wind, even in the most turbulent and stormy weather. The irony is that even though trees are the strongest roots, they are still fragile. Trees in a forest protect one another. A tree planted and left all alone must weather the storm by itself, and even the deepest roots can lose hold in the ground. A tree trying to grow in a forest needs to survive long enough to reach its sunlight, just like the tree in our front yard with branches only on one side. It is growing, and we are told that it will eventually break free from the trees next to it, and it will grow because it will reach the sun. They keep each other company, but they obviously continue to strive for sunshine. You, my dear child, have roots deeper than you know. You are strong, you can weather any storm. You will no doubt feel alone at times in your life, but you are never alone. You never will be. We planted you within a community of friends and family that will shield you and nurture you and make room for you to grow. And so my wish for you is that you take time to breathe often and deeply. Embrace the gusts of wind when they come. Don't fight the storms. Just trust your roots and dig them a little deeper. And look up every so often because the sunlight is right above the treetops. I tried really hard.
Okay. And we didn't share these, so there's some parts that are similar and some parts that are different. So, and I have not been preparing for this my whole life because I've learned about this new and recently. So here we go. You ready? Okay. When Rabbi Ariel sat with us and explained a bit about what this blessing should be, she said that we should share a bit about who we've seen you be and what we hope for you. So when I think about who I've seen you be, you're reading this over my shoulder. And who I've seen you be and how you've blessed our lives. There's, of course, so much, not unlike what Amy said. You're an amazing brother and son, a dedicated swimmer and student, a loving, caring, and thoughtful human. And among all those things, two things keep coming to mind about what you've taught me. One of those is don't forget to love yourself, and the other one is the importance of pausing before responding. And so the piece that I'm going to start with is that piece about blessing me with the idea of pausing before responding, which is something that you have been teaching me or reminding me of over and over and over. And I don't know how you've been doing that at such a young age for so long and so wisely, but I can be really fiery at moments, and it's amazing how you've been able to say to me for a number of years now, Mama, I just need you to listen. Don't say anything. Don't respond. Don't say no. Just listen. Sometimes maybe it's about something you really want, but more often than not, it's about sharing how you're experiencing something or what a situation looks like from your perspective or from someone else's perspective, helping us understand what's going on with your sister, or any kind of insight or something beneficial. It's a gift that you have that you can read a situation and yourself enough to ask for what is needed and to slow us all down, to take a breath, to pause, to listen, and then to have us choose with intention what comes next. I know that you help me become a better version of myself for that, and I hope that you're able to give yourself that space to pause when you need it as well. I think we all got to see that today. The second thing you've been reminding me and teaching me since you were just a toddler is to not forget to love ourselves. Myself, yourself, each one of us, to love ourselves. I remember when we were putting you to bed when you were like 2 or 3 years old, and we would say how we loved each person in the family. I would always go through and be like, I love you, I love Amy, I love Selah. And you would literally always come back with, don't forget to love yourself. And it's just so true. I have no idea how you were so wise all the way back then. It's just who you are, who you were born as. And you are such a loving and kind and compassionate human. You are generous and giving, always willing to help others. And amidst all of that, I just want to remind you, don't forget to always love yourself too. My hopes for you are many, of course, but I will narrow them the best that I can. I hope that you will trust and know you always have everything you need. You always have, you always will. I hope that you will not let fear hold you back. All the best things in my life have come because I took a leap of faith, or maybe it was a commitment to the faith that I already had, kind of like the Levites in your Parsha. I had fears, and I always knew what I wanted or needed. Whether it was traveling abroad as a young person, marrying your Amy, moving across the country twice. I'm not saying don't acknowledge your fears. You can feel them, honor them, but move through them so that you can live life to the fullest and experience all the wonderful things the world has to offer. And finally, I hope this is the part that's similar to Amy, but different, but similar. I hope that you always know that across time and space, you are loved and remembered. As you get older and move through your life, you'll meet more and more people. You'll impact their lives, and they'll impact yours. Some will be in your lives for a moment. Others will be there for a long time. And the time you have with each of these people, you will always carry them, and they will always carry you, because the time you have with each of them is the most important time there is. One of my favorite books that our friend Wendy gave to you before you were born is called The 3 Questions, and it's based on a story by Leo Tolstoy. It frames it kind of like this. There's a child, Nikolai, who's searching for the answers to some really important questions that he has about life. And here's what he finally discovers. This is a quote. Remember that there is only one important time, and that time is now. The most important one is always the one that you are with. And the most important thing is to do good for the one who is standing at your side. For these, my dear, are the answers to what is the most important in this world. This is why we are here. And I think you already know those things. I love you. So proud of you.
So it's the custom here at Shir Tikva for Bi Mitzvah students to ask their rabbi a question. And this class, this Bi Mitzvah class as a whole, has been asking some really hard-hitting questions. Really, really challenging their rabbi. So yesher koach to this class. Wow. And Isaiah, you asked me this week, how do I think about giving bad news? So first of all, I'm sorry that's a question you have to ask, that it's a question that feels so relevant. I'm sorry that we're living in a world where the bad news feels like it's so relentless that of all the questions that you'd want to ask a rabbi, you would want to know how I handle giving bad news. And so I pray, before I answer your question, I pray that you know periods of time where life feels easeful and sweet and where bad news is not to be found. Okay? So you've zoomed in with your question on a really hard part about being human, not just experiencing hardship, but needing to share news with others. All we really want is to make each other happy, right? And certainly we don't want to be the cause of pain or suffering. But being part of being human is not knowing everything, thank goodness. And that means that we need each other to tell us things, to keep ourselves aware, to keep each other aware, and to help us grow. And sometimes that means we have to say hard things to each other. That said, the rabbis in Talmud counsel us that we shouldn't be bearers of bad news. Doing so invokes something we read in Mishlei, Umotzi dibahu kesil. The one who voices bad news is a fool. The Gemara suggests that instead of saying bad news directly, we should tell each other what happened, but only hint at it. Don't share it directly. Halachic commentators like the Chatam Sofer think that a hint is sufficient because the person will figure out the bad news eventually. For the Chatam Sofer, every piece of bad news carries a ruach of tumah, a spirit of impurity, and so we should be responsible about how we share our news. Commentators even say that Shekhinah, that God's presence on earth, removes herself from earth when we mention bad news, which means that we lose access to healing and comfort. Hinting to it, though, doesn't drive Shekhinah away. So that's one methodology. But this isn't a prohibition, it's just a custom. And the truth of the matter is we rely on each other to tell the truth, not just to hint. That we need each other to help us orient in the world, and part of that orientation means we need to understand the world around us, the good and the bad. So my dad is a doctor, and he spent his life both caring for patients and teaching other people how to be a doctor. He taught me that he encourages his students to be really clear with people when they're sharing bad news. The more you hint at bad news, the more room there is for someone to misinterpret what's going on. If you can just say clearly what's true, what happened, you give people the chance to react and to open to the new reality. Of course, doctors, just like all of us, want to protect people from bad news. But when it's time to face something that's hard, it's the doctor's responsibility to share in a way that the family can really understand. As a rabbi, I think it's not just about how you give hard news, but how you stick around afterwards. If I have to share hard news, I try to start by getting consent from the person I'm talking to, just to make sure they're in a place to listen. I go slowly and I keep checking in. I try to speak as clearly as I can and be as unambiguous as possible. And most importantly, afterwards, I stay there. I want them to have the space to react, to ask questions, to push back, to crumble, sit quietly. I want them to know that I'm not just there to say something hard, but to be with them, to work through it together. It's not easy. It's scary work. It's like sitting with someone when all the veils come down and you just get to look together at the heartbreak and the disorientation. It's also sacred work. To sit with someone as they integrate life-changing news is a gift if you can stay present. It's a gift they're giving you, asking you to be responsible and grounded and loving and present with them as they absorb and process. So Isaiah, I'm amazed by your compassion. I'm inspired by your self-awareness and your menschlichkeit, by your goodness. I hope for many more chances to learn with you and for lots of reasons to celebrate with you in the years to come. So thank you for your question. Whoosh. I'm just waiting for someone to be like, hey, how you doing? You know, such hard questions. No, that would be a hard question too. So I'm going to invite Isaiah to join me here on the bima. You're going to share your haftarah, and then we're going to go up onto the bima together.
First, I'm going to talk about how my haftarah relates to my parsha. My haftarah relates to my parsha in two ways. It is interesting, though, because it says not to do the main thing that happens in my parsha that I am reading. The first relation is that my haftarah says, the number of people in Israel shall be like sands in the sea, not to be counted or measured. The thing is that the exact opposite happened in my parsha. God told them to take a census, and people were numbered and counted, even though my haftarah says that they should not be. I find it kind of weird that they both say to do the opposite thing. The second way that my haftarah relates to my parsha is that my haftarah says, people of Judah and Israel shall be gathered together and choose for themselves a single head to rise up from the ground. This relates to my parsha because my haftarah says that they should gather and choose one head to rise up. This is like how God chose the Levites to rise up and guard the tabernacle. These are both of the ways that my haftarah connects to my parsha. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has chosen faithful prophets to speak words of truth. Praise to you, Adonai, for the revelation of Torah, for your servant Moses, and for your people of Israel, and for the prophets of truth and righteousness. The numbers of people of Israel shall be like sands of the sea, not to be measured or counted. And where they were called, you are not my people, they will be called the children of the living God. The people of Judah and Israel shall be gathered together and choose for themselves a single head to rise up from the ground. For that day they called Jezreel will be great. Call my brothers, my people, and your sisters loved by God. Praise to you, Adonai, sovereign of the universe, rock of all creation, righteous of all generations, the faithful God, whose word is deed, who creates by speaking, whose every command is true, just and true. For the Torah, for the privilege of worship, for the prophets, and for this Shabbat, that you, Adonai, our God, have given us, for the holiness and rest, for honor and glory. We thank for everything, Adonai, our God, we thank, and bless you. May your name be blessed. Forever and every living being, praise to you, Adonai, for the Sabbath and its holiness.
I'm going to invite your parents to come join me on the bima, and also your tutor Aaron, and I invite the community to rise as we open the ark. It's my joy to invite to the Bema Rabbi Sheldon Switkin and also Aunt Sarah and Liz to join us for blessing.
It's my pleasure now to bless you with the Birkat Kohanim. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and guard you. Yareh Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May the Lord show his graciousness unto you. Yisad Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Lord grant you a life of health and happiness, a life of peace and contentment. May you be a blessing to all of Israel and to all of humankind. And we all say, Amen. And Isaiah, you are the first in a series of B'nai and Benot Mitzvah. So you are leading the path and showing the way. Your sister will follow you, your cousin Ari, and your cousins Miriam and Nava as well. So the next 2 years, I hope that you are able to show them the way, and I'm sure when you do, they will do as well as you did today. Mazel tov.
Sorry, this is a song. It's the same prayer that has been said. I won't actually cry, hopefully, when I'm playing it on the piano. But since Isaiah was a little itty baby, like probably almost driving home from the hospital when you would cry in the car, I would put on this version of this song. I'd rock you to it. I mean, Selah too, but we're talking about you right now. And so this song holds a ton of meaning. And so you've got Auntie Sarah and I, and we're going to do our best here to get through this. So I'm going to try.
Just figuring out some mic stuff though here. Liz, we got to get that mic down for you.
Give us a second here, a little technical.
We appreciate your patience.
Make sure we're in tune.
You good? Yeah? You are our blessing. You are our strength. You are our future. We believe in you and the choices you will make. Nivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ye'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. V'yasem lecha shalom. We are proud of you and the life that you will choose. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ye'er Adonai panav elecha v'yihunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha. Ve'asem lecha shalom. Ve'asem lecha shalom. I tried.
Would it be better if I didn't look at you?
Yeah, would have been.
So tender. Mazal tov and yesher koach. I got you. It's for you. For this reason, it's here. I'm going to invite up Selah and Ari to join me here on the bima as we say a blessing over new moments, the Shehechianu, and let's just savor the sweetness of this new moment. Shehechianu is found on page 344.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu akiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
So we rise now in body and spirit for Aleinu, which is found on page 284. V'hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim v'hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. You may be seated. We turn now to Kaddish Yatom, to Mourner's Kaddish. where we take this time to remember those who have died recently or died at this time in years past. And in this moment, we think of Marina's mom, Mercedes Sierra. May her memory be a blessing. As a community, we're in Shloshim for Dan Edelshik, Hoke Curry, Arlene Rita Spiegel, and Robert Earl Hensley. We observe the 2-year yahrzeit of George Floyd, and we remember those who were killed in Uvalde, Texas this week. Jose Flores, Elijah Cruz Torres, Miranda Mathis, Jace Carmelo Luevanos, and Jayla Nicole Silguero, Alicia Ramirez, Rogelio Torres, Anabel Guadalupe Rodriguez, Tess Mata, Eli Garcia, McKenna Lee Elrod, Maite Juliana Rodriguez, Ameri Garza, Nevea Bravo, Uzia Garcia, Javier Lopez, Irma Garcia, and Eva Mireles. And as a community, we observe the yahrzeit of Fanny Cohen, Nina Cottle, Marcella Kaplan, Marcy Kronfeld, Peg Murphy, Max Rosenthal, Diane Siegel, Leonore Simon, Laverne Snedding, Henry Lorenzi Sojourner, Norman Soule, Sidney Spirer, Ozzie Stern, Shirley Swerdlick, Bruce Watson, Alan Weinblatt, Frida Weinstein, Janine Nicole Wallace, and Larry Zell. And I invite you please to share any names of people that you're thinking of in this time. We turn to page 294 and rise in body and spirit for Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen, yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam u'lamei almaya, yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shmeid kudsha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen, yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru amen, oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'yimru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring comfort to all who mourn. Let us say together, Amen. You may be seated. I want to say thank you to this beautiful family for just gifting our whole community with your song, and your Torah, and Mazal Tov to Isaiah. What a joy. Thank you. And it's my joy to invite Barry Epstein to join me here on the Bima.
Isaiah, why don't you come up? So Shabbat Shalom. Isaiah, on behalf of Shir Tikva, I want to thank you for your beautiful chanting and what you taught us today. I learned a lot about the Levites today, and I really appreciate that a lot. I can't remember, have I taught you 2 or 3 years? Something like that, I can't. 3. So Isaiah and I, we've been together for a while, and you have been a very quiet, great influence in our class. You are a true leader, and what I wanted to, as you know, you've been to these enough that I have a challenge for you and a couple of gifts. And my challenge is an interesting one. You really exemplify what I think of a Jewish person. You do mitzvahs. You partner with Adonai. Maybe you don't know that, but you're partnering with Adonai and taking action in this world to make this place make this a better place. And that's what we're commanded to do as Jews, take action. And I am so in awe and impressed. I went on your website today. We're Doctors Without Borders, you're raising money. It is so impressive. If you haven't had a chance, go on there. It is really, really amazing. And for you to do this is really a mitzvah. So my challenge to you is that you continue doing this, you continue serving others, and come here because we need your influence. We need your leadership here at Shir Tikva to teach us. And just as you taught your mom and your moms, I want you to come and teach us the wonderful, wonderful ways that you interact with this world. So that's my challenge. You'll have a name tag out there soon. So put it on so every day you can remember to do this. And then I've got a couple of gifts. If you're not a member of the JCC, you are now. You've got a membership for a year. The pool is great. I'm sure you've been there. And then you will get 2 partial scholarships to go to Israel. And I know you've gone before, correct? No, you have. Oh my gosh, you have to go to Israel. You will just love it. It's just amazing. So Mazel Tov.
Okay, so here we are as we move to the seal of our service. I'm going to invite Marina and Liz and Selah to join me here on the bima as we bless our grape juice and our challah. And there's a Swedish fish who's It's a different bracha if there's a Swedish fish there.
It's a swimmer.
That's right, it's a swimmer. So Isaiah's fish. Here, Isaiah, you can hold this. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. So Mazal Tov again, Isaiah, to you and your whole family. What a beautiful undertaking, and what a joy to be all together this morning. So as we seal our service, I just am going to invite you, as you're leaving, please bring your prayer books with you to leave on the back table and separate the programs that are inside from the Sidurim so we're able to move them back to the shelves a little bit more smoothly. Thank you so much, and know that you're welcome to stay on our campus, to be on the courtyard, to be mingling together, and that I just wish each of you such a sweet day as we move into this next part of Shabbat. Mazal Tov. We'll close in song. Ya la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 ya la, la 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 la. Thank you to all of you joining on live stream. Thank you so much to Steve Greenberg, who is here leading prayer with us today. Shabbat Shalom.
Now that I know about you and I know about your wisdom, we're gonna. We also talked about we can look ahead and see is there one our next year already scheduled. But I did seriously. Let me know how you want to be involved. Okay, so how do you feel sad? Wonderful. Are you feeling the same as what are you gonna do for us today?
Well, we're gonna have lunch with our family, and then we're gonna have a few hours at home.
You come in tonight?
Pardon me?
You come in tonight?
I'm not.
Okay, that's okay.
But thank you. Thank you.
We're going to be, it's going to be a face camp, but it's going to be like just catered food and dance and.
Have fun, okay?
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
are really important. So I'm just going to keep crying.
Wow.
Oh, wait.
Buddy. You were fantastic. Just
I was crying.
listen.
I can't help it.
Can you, I do have to go. Can you send me the parsha that you wrote?
Yeah.
Okay, your mom's got they have my email. Send it to me.
Okay.
And then I'll call you.
Like my Devar Torah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you have typed up.
Yeah.